So I was very intentional when I arrived at the FCC of saying I wanted to have a social media account. And at first I actually got some people saying why, and I said, well, our middle name is communications, so it's kind of important. And they said, well, you can have a personal account. And I said, well, I don't think people personally care about me, or I hope not. But it really is about the role that I am embodying and the fact that FCC, Federal Communications Commission, really should be trying to lead the way in terms of public service, in terms of technology we're adopting. And that was unfortunately not the case because the results of sequestration, budget cuts, technology had fallen to the wayside and was an afterthought. And that's how we got in a scenario in which more than half of our IT systems were more than 10 years old and hadn't been updated. I often also say that IT is a lot like, I wish that IT had expiration dates and was like cheese. So that after about 3 years, you actually start venting smelly stuff into the air and someone says you really need to replace that IT system because it's more than 3 years old. After about 7, maybe it's really moldy at that point. That would maybe motivate people, but IT, you often don't see how old it is until something breaks. So I wanted to be intentional about social media to share that. And actually one of the first things I think I did when I arrived was I tweeted a photo of a 56K modem that was actually still unwrapped. It was still completely unwrapped in its container in my desk when I arrived. And I was like, just found at the FCC. And so it showed that we had a long way to go. And it also explained that, we're going to move as fast as we can given the workforce we have and the funds we have. If we get more funds, we can move faster, but I wanted to be honest with the public and say, yes, here's the challenges we're facing. Yes, we know that we need to be more agile in responding to you, and have that honest conversation and really give a face to public service. Because first and foremost, public service should be about serving the public and engaging them. And so over the next 2 years, I found that social media to me was the best way to learn and hear different views. And there were definitely diverse views on where we should go. I met a lot of people online initially that later I met in real life that helped inform our efforts. It also serves as a way of actually identifying change agents that might be willing to work initially part-time with the FCC. We had one person that actually had his own startup and was willing to do 1 day a week with the FCC. And about 3 months in, he was so interested that he actually made it 3 days a week in a year, and he's now full-time. He still has a startup on the side, completely separate. But he actually sort of engaged us because we were actually talking about here are the really meaningful missions we need to tackle. So I think social is something that any leader should do to talk about, one, where their organization is going, but even more importantly, talk about the challenges and try to attract change agents to help solve them.